Now, many of you are probably aware that the birth of Jesus Christ did not happen in December, as far as we know, but that he was in fact born in the summer, and that the celebration of his birth was moved to coincide with some pagan holiday. Well, today we're going to look at that pagan holiday. This celebration was centered around the Roman god Saturn, which is where we get the word Saturday, by the way. This festival is shrouded in a crazy amount of tradition and history. Many of the traditions were meant to reflect the world that has been lost from the Roman mythical age. Something I find funny is that this celebration is one of the most important and famous, yet there is no complete account in the historical sources. What we understand as the celebration of Saturnalia is pieced together from many different sources, so keep in mind that what I will be describing won't necessarily be 100% accurate. Now that we're done with the boring introduction, let's get to the wide world of Roman parties. Saturnalia would begin with a sacrifice at the Temple of Saturn. This would most likely be a bull or an ox. What's significant for this is that the priests would perform these sacrifices with their heads uncovered. This was known as capite velatio. Something that we will see is that Saturnalia involves a lot of role reversal, which, if you're familiar with Boxing Day traditions, you'll understand this. The role reversal of households, and at the society at large in general, is really fascinating. Republican-era Romans lived in a very rigid and morally restrictive society, and when those shackles were unleashed, it's so fascinating to see the outcomes. These heavily controlled Romans had at least one day a year to absolutely let loose and get wild. Slaves were treated as equals and allowed to eat the celebratory meal with their masters. It makes me wonder who cooked it. Along these lines, slaves were also permitted free speech, where they could openly disrespect their boss and get away with it. Despite this, it was clear to all that this even playing field was not to last. As such, unless a slave got really plastered, he probably didn't want to criticize his master's sandals too much, lest he be lashed tomorrow. The total violation of rules governing society, that meant not only slaves were equal, but women too, for one day. We know this by the naming of women for gifts. This doesn't mean that every single Saturnalia celebration included women, but we know at least some of them did. This leads me to the next topic. Gifts. Excuse me. December 19th was usually the day for the exchange of gifts. Funnily enough, the most popular type of gift that was exchanged among the elite were gag gifts. We don't have a lot of examples as to what these were, but we do have a decent record of more sincere gifts. The elites might also give monetary gifts to their patrons to help them buy gifts. Ah, what a nice present from Marcinius Lucullus Scrooge. The poet Martial has a collection of poems, of course, that appear to be something like greeting cards. In fact, Martial has a whole chapter of just different gifts and suggestions on what to get different and certain types of people. After reading it, I can say that he's particularly fond of nuts, claiming they're not a risky gift. Though, apparently, they have robbed the youth of their honor. Another huge part of the festivities was the lift on the gambling ban. It's not that people didn't gamble, but now it was legal. For this brief window, everyone was allowed to gamble, and I mean everyone. Slaves, women. Although I couldn't find anything about children, but I'm willing to bet that they probably didn't take part. Tying back to Martial, the things that were usually at stake were nuts or coins. Of course. I find it funny how some prominent Romans absolutely hated this aspect of the holiday, such as Pliny, though he hated almost everything. The lasting legacy of Saturnalia is not something that can go understated. It's really important to understand that this holiday, this celebration, was celebrated all over the city, the Republic, and then the Empire. In the city of Rome itself, it was actually celebrated all over. Normally with festivities like this, it would take place in just only one temple. This was everywhere. It was in people's homes. And it lasted, as I said, right up until the late Empire and afterwards. One of the things that happens though, especially in the late Empire, religion and politics become really confusing and really entangled. But there are some things those things being facts, that we can rely on. The relationship between Christmas and Saturnalia has been made more times than I care to count. It is believed the main reason Pope Julius I formalized the celebration of Jesus' birth on December 25th was to create a positive connection between the pagan and Christmas celebrations. It is also possible that the 25th of December was chosen to line up with other religious holidays, such as the birthday of Sol Invictus and the supposed conception date of Jesus. How festive. For much of the history of Christmas, it was not a family-oriented occasion. It was a rigorous, religious time with much pomp and circumstance. It was thanks to authors like Charles Dickens that we got a reformation or a revival of Christmas, at least in the English-speaking parts of the Christian world. These included gift-giving, eating, drinking, singing, and dancing. Christmas has always been a special time for me. I don't think there's one person I haven't seen or talked to around this time every year that I don't wish a Merry Christmas and just a good time. In fact, funny story. I can get into Christmas music the moment after November 11th. It's so easy for me. I went into work. I used to work at a store. I went into work on November 12th. I was working at 6 o'clock in the morning with one of my favorite people and one of my best friends. We had been working together for quite some time at this point, so he knew the type of person I was. And we get into the back room. We go to our lockers. I can see that he's barely awake. I don't remember if he had his coffee by this point, and this man lives on coffee. And I go out to the punch machine first. I punch in. I go out onto the floor, and the moment I walk out on the floor, what do I hear? I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. And I just start belting out the words as loud as I can to this almost empty store, this massive store. I just start screaming the lyrics for everyone that's around to hear. So not that many people, but just as loud as I can be. And I'm pumped. I'm amped. Keep in mind, it's 5:55 in the morning. And then my friend comes out of the back room. He opens the door, and he can hear me. And he just had the most disapproving look on his face. And all I said to him was, "'Tis the season." I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your well wishes, I'm sure. I know not a lot of people watch these, and not a lot of people are going to see this. But for those of you who are, I just want to say, stay strong. I know this year hasn't been easy. I know a lot of people can't see their families. And I'm sorry for them. I understand. It's not easy. It's hard. But, like I said, stay strong, stay kind, stay humble, and stay happy. It can be hard to get into the Christmas spirit sometimes. And with a lot of people being downers, they canceled Christmas. We can't celebrate. You can celebrate. Whether you're alone or you're surrounded by 30 people. Everyone deserves a break. Everyone deserves love. Doesn't matter if it's that miser that you know that you wish a happy holidays to, and he just goes, it doesn't matter. Why do it? People just go into debt. That's okay. That's okay. They're allowed not to be happy. You don't have to force them to be happy, but don't let them bring you down. What I will say is just keep wishing them the spirit of the season. Maybe one day, if we can all just stay positive, some people will get it. They don't have to. I want to leave on this. It doesn't matter if someone wishes you a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Kwanzaa, what's the name of the Japanese one? The Omisoka, a happy Omisoka. It doesn't matter. They're wishing you well. They're wishing you the spirit of the season, the safety and the happiness. Embrace it. Take it in. So with that, I won't want to wish you all a happy holidays, a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and Happy Saturnalia. I'm gonna